Times like this is where you guys are making me feel like an old fart. I'm looking at my comments section, and I guess it's become a new random trend to say the words, "The Waffle House has found a new host." I don't know what this means. I don't know where it came from, but maybe we can get a little cringy intro out of it. So here's some Waffle House memes.
Order up.
Can I get a waffle? Can I please get a waffle?
Hello, my movie peeps. Thank you so much for clicking on an episode of Side Flick. My name is Chris. We've got movie news to discuss here today, so let's jump on it. Some of the stuff we're going to be talking about here today is our little boy Chucky has been renewed for season 3. As a big Chucky fan, that's something I wanted to discuss here. We got possible plot details for Venom 3 that just make you go, Sony, what is you doing? Rumors of a live-action Ben 10 movie and how credible they are. Really, that along with so much more. So many of you guys give me your opinions down below with everything we discuss here today. Timestamps will be in the description. Also, as a quick shameless plug, HBO just premiered their first episode of The Last of Us. I loved it, so I went ahead and posted a spoiler review talking about it. If you want to join me weekly as we talk about The Last of Us, just to let you know. And another shameless plug I never talk about, code 3CFilms at gfuel.com, man. You get 30% off a lot of products. When you use that code, it supports the channel and you get some tasty energy drinks in your life. But jumping into our first movie news story here today, it's an update on Scream Roman numeral 6. It looks like we have an idea of when we can expect to see the next trailer, or I should say the first full-length trailer. Since the last thing we got was more of a teaser, here we're going to be looking at more of the story, meeting some of the newer faces, getting an idea of what we can expect this different kind of Scream movie to be. All of this coming from a Twitter post that the official Scream account made where they outlined the numbers 119, January 19th. And then even the Scream account being a little snarky to people who are pointing out, is that the trailer date? And of course, you guys know how obsessed I am with Scream. I'm really looking forward to this trailer, but after reading some of the comments that Kevin Williamson has been making about the new movie, I really want to see this footage. Kevin Williamson, who wrote a majority of the Scream movies, even the very first film, had this to say about the upcoming movie. It doesn't feel like part 6. It feels like you're watching this big, huge, fresh reinvention. I love it. I've watched the movie with a big smile on my face. I think it's everything and more, and going to New York was awesome. The movie feels new. It feels fresh. It feels like a new movie. Now, a couple of things off the bat. Kevin Williamson is a producer on the series, so he's not going to badmouth the movie he's working on. But coming from one of the masterminds that started the Scream franchise, this is really nice to hear. It can be scary to some because we just had the same sort of things being hinted at us with like Halloween Ends. They were telling us this one's going to be different. This one's not going to be like the other ones, and well, it kind of divided the fans. Some love it, some hate it. And with Scream 6, they're looking to do that. They're wanting to be different. And with him calling it a new movie, it feels like he's telling us this doesn't even feel like a Scream movie, but in a good way, because it's fresh. It reinvents the franchise, and that's what Scream was. It reinvented horror for a little bit, and then it kind of stuck to its formula. So hopefully this new trailer they come out with gives us an idea of that new fresh feel they're going for, and hopefully it won't divide the fans. How are you guys feeling about these comments on Scream 6, and what do you want to see in the trailer coming out this Thursday? And I guess since we're on the train right now talking some of our favorite horror icons, let's talk about our little boy here, Chucky. A lot of you who watch my channel also watch my breakdowns of the Chucky TV series. You know I've been enjoying it just because that's the little man I grew up loving, and fans of the Chucky TV series were getting really worried that we were not going to be renewed for season 3. They didn't immediately announce it like they did the last time around. Also, the second season wasn't as well loved amongst most of the fans. It was still very much liked by a lot of Chucky fans, particularly the ones who enjoy Seed of Chucky, but there were some fans like me that were a little disappointed that didn't love this season all that much and were kind of scared that maybe that was the end of Chucky. Well, thankfully they came out and finally confirmed season 3 will be happening.
I always come back.
I'm pissed off that most of the comments under that announcement are just people saying Chucky's copying William Afton. Like, my friends, Chucky was saying that line back in Bride of Chucky in 1998.
Go ahead and shoot. I'll be back. I always come back.
It's pretty awesome that we'll be getting it this fall, so it looks like a majority of it is probably already written and they're gonna get ready to start filming it pretty soon. The only other details we have about the show is some comments that Don Mancini made here, where he says, "Many thanks also to our partners at Sci-Fi, USA, and UCP for helping us keep Chucky busy. See you in 2023, and for what Chucky himself promises will be his scariest season ever." Those are the words I needed to hear. Because like I mentioned, last season was more of the comedic Chucky, was the seed of Chucky, was the silly Chucky. I know there's people who love that Chucky and they want the campy Chucky, but the Chucky I love the most is from those first 3 movies where he came off menacing, where he was evil, where he was maniacal. Of course he was making his jokes and being funny, but he was still threatening during it. So it looks now like season 3 will get us past the seed and bride of Chucky era and will put us back into the cult and curse era where Don Mancini was trying to make Chucky scary again. I'm just happy I'm still gonna get more Chucky in my life. I throw it off to you guys. How do you feel about the Chucky TV series being renewed for season 3 and them calling it the scariest season ever? Bringing us here to a story that I just want to tell you immediately off the top, take it with a grain of salt. There's been some rumors and rumbling going around that Warner Brothers is starting to make a live action Ben 10 movie. The source on this is coming from a couple of places. The first one is Daniel Richmond, a reliable scooper, usually when it comes to trailer release dates. When it comes to other information besides trailers, he can be on and off, but he mentioned a live action Ben 10 movie is being worked on at Warner Brothers, and then we got this sheet that had a release date of upcoming Warner Brother movies, and at the very end of it, it says one of the films in production is Ben 10. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm pretty sure this sheet going around is fake. The person who made it ended up making an error here where they have DC Studios, and then the one time they wrote DC Studios, they put it with an apostrophe when all the other ones don't have it. Just like a minor mistake that wouldn't happen on a press sheet that's meant to have accurate information. Also, no one knows the source of this. It just randomly appeared online. You can't find it on Warner Brothers website. No one got an email of it. Someone just tweeted it and then everyone started spreading it. Still, even with all that said, a lot of you will agree Ben 10 was our freaking childhood. I remember watching it and wanting to be Ben 10 so bad, have the Omnitrix say, "It's hero time, hit it," and then end up turning into some alien. But it was also one of the most popular cartoons that Cartoon Network ever put out, which is why they kept trying to reboot it, come up with different versions of the series, all this other nonsense. So with Warner Brothers right now being in a situation where they only want to focus on their most popular IPs, it makes sense to me that they would go, "Oh, one of the most popular cartoons that ever premiered on our network? Yeah, we should make that live action." And yes, I know they have already made live action movies. I was there to witness them. I remember they even had a contest where you could win a car, and I wanted so badly to have his car, but I could never figure out how do you type in words on a phone number. But those live action movies had a very made for TV feel. The budget on them wasn't spectacular. The stories were very simple. If you make that first season of Ben 10 into a movie, it could be really good, really fun, plus the potential for what you could do to expand the world in other seasons and have the characters grow up along the way. It's honestly a no-brainer to me, so I do think this is something in development that we could see happening, but I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention because a lot of people are currently talking about it. How would you feel about Warner Brothers working on a live-action Ben 10 movie? Do you see it happening? Is Tom Holland gonna get cast? And how much do you hate me for saying that? And well, speaking of Tom Holland, let's get into our next ridiculous story of the day that I just had to bring up here to you guys. It looks like we have gotten some possible details involving Sony's plans for Venom 3 that we know is going to be happening. They're going to complete that trilogy, and the one thing we want to see this trilogy end on is Venom versus Spider-Man, but right now, I just have no idea how they're gonna pull that off. And well, a scooper online that has a small history of reliable information, there's like 1 or 2 things in their page that turned out being true, so it looks like they know something, but admittedly, they don't have a big enough track record for me to say, "Oh, this is definitely happening." They're saying here, Venom 3 is set in the same world as Madam Web, and is a story of Eddie/Venom hunting down Peter Parker, but finds out he's just a 5-year-old child, and struggles with knowing they need to take down Peter for their future, but begin to start seeing Peter as a son-like figure. Again, take this with a grain of salt. In all honesty, it's January, news isn't really bumping, so I'm trying to bring some stuff to you guys. But now actually diving into the details here, like, that sounds so crazy to me, and that's why I'm like, Sony would definitely do this. The biggest thing holding me back with like 100% believing this is them mentioning that Peter will be 5 years old in Venom 3. We know Madam Web deals with the birth of Peter Parker. If you guys don't remember, we we found out about the plot of Madam Web a similar way here through leaks online that turned out being true, where it said that Madam Web is kind of going to be like the story of Terminator. There's someone from the future trying to stop the birth of Peter Parker. Madam Web and a group of other girls are going to try and stop this bad guy so that Peter can be born, because he's important for the future. But the problem is Madam Web is set in the early 2000s, like somewhere between 2002 and maybe 2005. And the first Venom movie came out like in 2018, so if we go 5 years back to where Peter would be born, that'd be like 2013. That doesn't match up with the Madam Web timeline. Again, that is also just like a minor discrepancy with Sony, with all the random little things that they have done in their universe. I think it's still believable the core essence of this story could turn out being true, because Madam Web is definitely going to end with Peter Parker being born. So let's say that happens in 2005. We fast forward now to like our modern age. The Sony spin-off universe Peter Parker will be like 16, 17, meeting Tom Hardy's Venom. Don't forget, the Morbius director mentioned that Sony does have plans to introduce their version of a Spider-Man in Venom's universe, and they already know who it's going to be. We just haven't been revealed that information yet. And I do think that's like the only interesting thing they can do with Venom 3 is introduce a Spider-Man for Venom to fight. I know some people want Toxin, but it's like this would be the third time a movie would just make a random symbiote the villain for Venom. It would be so extremely redundant. I'd be like, what happened to this trilogy? You guys are hearing this. You're seeing what Sony is maybe attempting to do with Venom 3. If this turns out being true, Venom meeting up with teenage kid Peter Parker and then befriending him even though he knows that'll eventually be his enemy. Do you think that's a plot line that could work? Is that the Venom vs. Spider-Man movie we'd want to see? But that is all the movie news we currently have going on right now, guys. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.